Okay, Wildcats. Today we're looking at the first lesson of the sixth 6 weeks. Okay, and that's going to be on Friday, April 6th, and it's going to be Introduction to Regressions on page 70. If you would, update your table of contents. All right, so now let's take a look at our notes. Introduction to Regression on page 70. Regression inspires steps. Step 1, press the On button. Step 2, select One, New Document. Step 3, select No when asked, do you want to save unsaved document? All right, so now let's take a look at step 4. Press 4, Add List in Spreadsheets. Step 5, complete the table. Step 6, move the blue box to C1. Step 7, press Menu for Statistics 1, Stat Calculations. Step 8, choose a function. 3, linear. 6, quadratic. And A, exponential. Then you go to X list X and Y list Y. Step 10, press Enter and check the R value for linear and exponential and the R squared value for quadratic. Step 11, choose the function to model that is closest to 1 or -1. Now, at this point in the video, if you're watching it and you don't have an Inspire with you, you might wait to watch the rest of the lesson in class so you have an Inspire. If you have an Inspire with you or at home, then go ahead and continue watching the video. If not, by all means, wait until class and you can watch the video in class with the calculator. Okay. All right. So at this point, I assume you either have an Inspire with you, so you're either in class with one or at home. So I'm going to continue with the lesson. Sorry, it helps if you have the paper with the examples on it. All right. So find the function that models the data. Write the function that models the data. So example 1. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to follow through on those steps with example 1. Okay. So I'm going to go to press the On button and I'm going to select One, New Document. And then I want to say No. Then we're going to go to number 4, Add List in Spreadsheets. X and Y, just like the picture in the notes. And then you're going to fill in the table. So 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 0.8, 3.6, 16.2, 72.9, 328.05. All right, so from there, we're on to step 6. We're going to move the cursor to C1. Okay. Now we're going to press Menu, number 4, Statistics, and then 1, Stat Calculation. And then we're going to first do linear. So we're going to do number 3, linear. Going to do X and Y. Press Enter, OK. And then we're going to go down to the R value, which is 0.821. Okay, so 0.821. Now we have to repeat the process for quadratic and exponential. So now I'm going to move my cursor up to, looks like F1. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat the process. So Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculation, and then now we're going to do, in this case, number 6, Quadratic Regression. X and Y, press OK or press Enter, and then we're going to go down to the, in this case, it doesn't have an R value, so we use the R squared value, which is 0.953. Okay, so now we're going to move our cursor to the right and go up to, looks like I1, and then do the process one more time for exponential. So menu, statistics, stat test, stat calculation, and then we're going to go to exponential regression, X and Y, and then we're going to go down to OK or press enter. And then this has an R value, so we use that, and that's 1. All right, since the exponential R value is 1, we know that this is an exponential regression. Okay. Now at this point, we're going to draw 3 lines, and I'll explain why as we finish the problem. Now on the first line, we're going to write the generic equation for exponential, and they give that to you right here. Okay. They don't put the y equals, well, we know it's y equals. So we have y equals a times b to the x power. On the next line, we need to know what a and b are. Well, they give those to us. A is 0.009 and b is 1.56. Now that we know the equation we're using, the a and b value, our equation is 0.009 times 1.456 to the x power. All right. Now at this point, before you start example 2, you need to go to on, new document. You always want to do that step 1 on new document. Okay, so now let's go on to example 2. Okay, so now we know we press no. We're going to add list and spreadsheets. We're going to complete the table. And then fill the table in 13, 19, 25, 31, 37, 43. And then -1, 17, 35, 53, 71, 89. Now we're going to move our cursor to C1. Then go menu, statistics, stat calculation. And we're going to do start off with linear, so number 3, X and Y. Press enter. And then we look for the R value. And in this case, the R value is 1. So it's more than likely linear, but we need to do this process again for quadratic. So we're going to move our cursor up to F1 and then repeat the process. So menu, statistics, stat calculation. Now we're doing number 6, quadratic regression, X and Y. Press enter. And then we go down to the R squared value, which is 1, which is problematic. Now we're saying it's linear and quadratic. How can that be? We'll explain that in just a minute. All right, but let's go and do exponential. So again, we're going to move to I1. So menu, statistics, stat calculations, exponential is A, X and Y. Press enter. It says syntax error. So we know it's not exponential. Okay. So again, we're going to draw our 3 lines. And press OK. Now I'm going to go back to the quadratic regression. Okay. Now, it doesn't show it all, but if I click on it, on the bottom right here, it shows the equation, okay, which we know is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So now we need to know what a, b, and c are. Well, it says it right here. A is 0, b is 3, and c is negative 40. So we substitute those values in. So y equals 0, x squared plus 3x minus 40. Now, while it said quadratic regression was correct, notice that's 0x squared. So technically, that's gone, and we're left with just a linear equation. Y equals 3x minus 40. So we can say this is a linear regression. All right, so now let's move on to example 3. All right, so again, on new document, no, add graph. Oh, I'm sorry, on new document, no, add listed spreadsheets, X and Y. And that's fill in the table. So 2, 7, 12, 17, 22, negative 100, negative 55, 40, 185, 380. Move the cursor to C1. Menu, statistics, stat calculation. We do linear first, number 3. X and Y, press enter. And then we find the R value, which is 0.971. Okay, now we're going to move the cursor to F1 and do the same process for quadratic. So menu, statistics, stat calculation, number 6, quadratic regression, X, Y, press enter. We go down to the R squared value, which is 1. And then we repeat the process for exponential. So menu, statistics, stat calculation, exponential, X, Y. It gives us an error, so we know the regression is quadratic. All right, so we draw our 3 lines. All right, so now we need to go back to quadratic. Well, quadratic is here. We know the equations y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we need to know what a is, which is 1. B is 0, and c is negative 104. So now we have a, b, and c. We can write our equation, which is y equals 1x squared plus 0x. Now we have a 0, but that doesn't matter. The 0 only x gets rid of that, but we still have x squared, so it's still quadratic. And then minus 104. All right, now let's move on to the last example. All right, so we're going to go to on, new document, no, on, new document, no, add list and spreadsheets, X, Y, I fill in the table, so negative 6, 1, 8, 15, 22, 15, 1, 30.12, 102.36, 217.72. Move our cursor to C1, menu, statistics, stat calculations, number 3, linear regression, X and Y. Press enter. And then we go down to the R value, which is 0.893. Okay. So now we're going to move our cursor up to F1, do the same thing, menu, statistics, stat calculations. Now we're going to go quadratic regression, which is X, Y. Press enter. We go down to the R squared value, which is 1. Now we go back and do the same thing for exponential. So menu, statistics, stat calculation, and then exponential regression, X, Y, press enter. And we go down to the R value, which is 0.758. So we're saying this is a quadratic regression. So I'm going to draw 3 lines. So we know our first one. Let's go back. Let's find the quadratic. It's right here. So we know we have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is 0.44, b is 0.2, and c is 0.36. So our equation is y equals 0.44x squared plus 0.2x plus 0.36. All right, this point, I can help you. You probably assume you're watching this in class, so once you've completed this, I can either help you with the problems on the assignment, or you can start working on it on your own. Either way, have a wonderful Wildcat day. Or class, I guess, if you're in class. Have a wonderful Wildcat class.